So picture this, a tiny chick hatching from its egg or a young cub taking its first wobbly steps into the wild. We often celebrate motherhood in the animal kingdom, and for good reason. After all, females go through the tough job of carrying and bringing new life into the world. But let's not forget the dads who also step up to the plate. Mums usually get all the credit for both childbearing and child-rearing, while dads often get overlooked. But there are some dads out there who break the mold. In some species, the father plays a crucial role in raising the young, sometimes even taking over from the mother. So let's take a trip from the icy plains of Antarctica to the lush rainforests of South America and meet some of these amazing dads. These are the fathers who defy expectations, challenge stereotypes, and show us that love, dedication, and sacrifice aren't just for moms, even in the wild. Let's start our journey in one of the toughest places on Earth, Antarctica. Here, in the middle of biting winds and freezing temperatures, we meet the emperor penguin. Their dedication to being a dad is truly amazing. As the sun sets, casting long cold shadows over the icy plains, the emperor penguin's breeding season kicks off. The females lay their single precious egg and then head off on a risky 2-month journey to the open sea to find food, leaving the males with the huge job of incubating the egg. And it really is a huge job. For 65 long days, the male emperor penguin balances the egg on his feet, keeping it warm in a special brood pouch. He faces the harsh Antarctic weather and goes without food for the entire incubation period. Imagine standing still, battered by icy winds and freezing temperatures for 2 months, all to protect the fragile life inside that egg. But their dedication doesn't stop there. When the chick hatches, small and vulnerable, the father keeps it warm and feeds it by regurgitating food until the mother returns with a belly full of food for the chick. Even then, the dad's job isn't over. He shares the duties of hunting and feeding with the mom. The emperor penguin shows us the power of a dad's love, proving that even in the harshest environments, a father's dedication to his offspring knows no limits. So we're leaving the icy south behind and heading to the lush, vibrant rainforests of South America. Here we meet the marmoset, a tiny primate with a huge heart. Up in the canopy we see a different kind of dad, one who's all about constant care and support. Marmosets usually have twins, which is super exciting but also really tough on the mom. The babies are about 1/4 of her body weight and need constant care, leaving her exhausted. That's where the marmoset dad steps in. From the moment the twins are born, he's on it, grooming and licking the newborns. This not only keeps the babies clean, but also helps them grow and strengthens their bond. This gives the tired mom a chance to rest and regain her strength, which is super important since she can get pregnant again, just 2 weeks after giving birth. The marmoset dad shows us that shared responsibility and support are key to great parenting, even in the animal world. Let's head over to the vast windswept grasslands of South America known as the Pampas. Here we meet a bird that really shakes up the idea of fatherhood, the rhea. Looking a bit like a small ostrich, the male rhea is a mix of dedicated dad and, believe it or not, a bit of a playboy. Unlike the one-partner-for-life emperor penguin, a male rhea can woo and mate with up to 12 females in one breeding season. You might think that with so many partners he wouldn't be much of a dad, but the rhea proves us wrong. The male rhea takes on the job of building the nest all by himself, carefully making a shallow spot in the ground to hold the eggs from all his mates. Once the females lay their eggs, which can add up to 50, the male takes on the tough job of incubating them, keeping them warm for 6 long weeks. But his work doesn't stop there. After the chicks hatch, the rhea dad becomes their main caregiver, fiercely protecting them from predators and teaching them how to find food and survive, all without any help from the moms. The rhea dad shows us that fatherhood in the animal world can be incredibly diverse, proving that even in a polygamous setup, a dad's dedication to his kids can be rock solid. Chapter 4. Red foxes, fathers, providers, and mentors. Let's head over to the familiar landscapes of Europe, Asia, and North America, where we meet the red fox, a creature known for its cunning and intelligence. But there's more to them than just being sly tricksters. They have a strong devotion to family, especially when it comes to the dads. After their kits are born, the vixen or female fox stays in the den, nursing and caring for the little ones. During this crucial time, the male fox steps up as both provider and protector. Every 4 to 6 hours, he goes out hunting to bring back food for his mate, making sure she has enough energy to feed their growing pups. But the red fox dad does more than just provide food. As the kits get older and start exploring outside the den, he becomes a patient and playful mentor, engaging them in games and activities that sharpen their instincts for life in the wild. One of the coolest things about red fox dads is how they teach their young essential life skills. When the kits are around 3 months old, the father starts hiding food near the den, encouraging them to use their keen sense of smell to find it, teaching them how to forage and be self-sufficient. The red fox is a great example of how fatherhood is about more than just providing. It's also about mentoring, guiding, and supporting the next generation to face the challenges ahead. Chapter 5, Ostriches Tag Team Parenting in the Savannah. Let's head to the sunny savannas of Africa and meet the ostrich, the world's largest bird. These guys are not just big and strong, but they also have a pretty cool way of sharing parenting duties. Ostriches stand out in the bird world, not just because of their size, but also because of how they raise their young. Unlike many birds where the female does most of the work, ostriches share the parenting load equally. It's a real team effort. After the female lays her big speckled eggs, both parents take turns keeping them warm. During the day, the female, with her camouflaged feathers, sits on the nest, blending right in with the grasslands. As night falls, the male takes over. His darker feathers help him stay hidden in the shadows, but the male's job isn't just about keeping the eggs warm. Once the chicks hatch, he becomes their fierce protector, using his strong legs and sharp claws to fend off predators like jackals, hyenas, and even lions. He also teaches them how to find food, making sure they learn the skills they need to survive in the savannah. The ostrich shows us that when both parents pitch in, they can give their kids the best start in life. Chapter 6, Gorillas, Gentle Giants with a Protective Streak. Let's head over to the lush rainforests of Central Africa, where we find one of our closest relatives, the gorilla. These amazing creatures, often seen as fierce, actually have a gentle side, especially when it comes to the silverback, the leader of the group. The silverback is a big deal, looking after the safety and well-being of his troop, which can be as large as 30 members. He leads with a mix of strength, wisdom, and surprising tenderness, especially with his own kids. Despite his size and strength, a silverback is a gentle and caring dad. You can often see him playing gently with his young ones, keeping an eye on their interactions and stepping in to settle disputes with a gentle nudge or a reassuring grunt. His role as protector is super important. Silverbacks are incredibly protective of their young, ready to face any danger, whether it's rival males, leopards, or even poachers. What really stands out about gorilla dads is their strong bond with their kids. They stay close to their young, even as they grow up, offering guidance, support, and constant reassurance in a challenging world. Gorillas remind us that beneath a tough exterior lies a heart full of love, tenderness, and unwavering devotion to family. Let's take off again, this time to the shallow lakes and lagoons of Africa, South America, and parts of Asia. Here we meet a bird famous for its bright pink feathers and that iconic one-legged pose, the flamingo. But there's more to them than just good looks. Their social structure is all about equality, especially when it comes to parenting. Flamingos are super social, hanging out in huge flocks that can have thousands of birds. Within these busy communities, they form strong pair bonds, often sticking together for life, showing their loyalty and commitment. And in these lifelong partnerships, flamingos really shine when it comes to raising their young, showing a true spirit of equality. Both parents get involved in every part of chick rearing, from building the nest to feeding and protecting their little one. It all starts with picking the perfect nesting spot, a job they do together. Together they build a cone-shaped nest from mud, showing off their teamwork. After the female lays her single egg, both parents take turns incubating it, sharing the job equally to keep the chick warm and safe. Once the chick hatches, both parents continue to share the parenting duties equally. They take turns feeding the chick, regurgitating a nutritious crop milk that helps it grow strong. They also fiercely protect their chick from predators, standing together against any threat. The flamingo, a perfect example of avian equality, shows us that shared responsibility and mutual respect are the keys to a strong and happy family. Let's dive into the underwater world of coral reefs and seagrass meadows. Here we meet a fascinating creature that flips the script on gender roles, the seahorse. These delicate horse-like fish are famous for their unique looks, but it's their way of reproducing that really makes them stand out. Seahorses have fascinated people for ages, and it's easy to see why. Unlike most animals, it's the male seahorse that carries the babies, a phenomenon known as male pregnancy. During their courtship, the female seahorse places her eggs into a special pouch on the male's belly. Once the eggs are safely inside this protective pouch, the male fertilizes them and takes on the job of carrying them. The pouch, filled with blood vessels, creates a nurturing environment for the growing babies. For about a week and a half to a month, the male seahorse carries the embryos, giving them nutrients and oxygen through a placenta-like structure in the pouch. During this time, he carefully controls the salinity and temperature of the pouch, making sure it's just right for his developing babies. Once the embryos are fully developed, the male seahorse goes into labor, releasing hundreds, sometimes thousands of tiny seahorses into the water. Although many of these newborns won't survive, the male seahorse's dedication to being a dad is truly remarkable. The seahorse, a true trailblazer in the animal world, shows us that nature often surprises us, challenging our ideas about gender roles and highlighting the incredible diversity of life on our planet. Let's head over to the marshes and wetlands of sub-Saharan Africa, where we meet the African jacana. This bird really flips the script on traditional gender roles. These birds are quite the sight with their long toes and bronze wings. You'll often see them gracefully walking on floating vegetation, hunting for insects and other tiny critters. In the world of the African jacana, the females are the ones in charge. They're bigger, more colorful, and definitely more aggressive than the males. In this polyandrous society, one female mates with several males, leaving each male to take care of a clutch of eggs. The male jacana, though smaller and less flashy, is a devoted and attentive dad. He builds the nest, a floating platform made of reeds and other aquatic plants, carefully selecting materials to ensure it floats and stays hidden. Once the female lays her eggs, usually about 4, he takes on the job of incubating them all by himself. Incubating eggs isn't easy, especially when your nest is a floating island at the mercy of wind and water. The male jacana has to stay alert, constantly adjusting the nest to keep the eggs at the right temperature and humidity. He also has to guard against predators, ready to defend his precious eggs with his sharp beak and claws. If the nest is threatened by rising water or predators, the male jacana shows incredible dedication. He carefully tucks the eggs under his wings, holding them securely with his long toes, and moves them to a safer spot. He'll do this as many times as needed, making sure his offspring survive, even if it means sacrificing his own well-being. The African jacana is a true example of single-parent dedication, showing us that fatherhood knows no bounds, even when faced with huge challenges. Let's dive into Chapter 10, Grey Wolves' Family Ties in the Wild. So we're heading to the wild landscapes of North America and Eurasia, where we meet the grey wolf, a creature wrapped in myth and legend. These smart and social animals are often seen as fearsome predators, but they have a strong sense of family and community. The males play a big role in raising the next generation. Grey wolves are super loyal to their pack, which is usually a tight family unit with a breeding pair, their older offspring, and the pups of the year. In this setup, the male wolf isn't just a distant figure, he's a dedicated and active dad. From the moment the pups are born, usually in a den under a fallen tree or among rocks, the male wolf shares the parenting duties. He helps the female take care of the pups by regurgitating food for them when they're too young to hunt. He also keeps a close eye on them as they play and explore. As the pups get older, the male wolf takes an active role in teaching them. He joins in playful but educational mock hunts, showing them the skills they'll need to survive. He also helps protect them from danger, standing guard against predators and rival wolves. What really sets grey wolf dads apart is their willingness to adopt orphaned pups. If a pup loses its parents, another breeding pair in the pack often adopts it, giving it the same care and attention as their own pups. This act of kindness shows the deep sense of family and community in grey wolf society. Chapter 11. Great Horned Owls, Dedicated Dads of the Night. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the woodlands of North and South America, let's talk about a creature that rules the night, the great horned owl. These majestic birds of prey, with their piercing yellow eyes and prominent ear tufts, are famous for their hunting skills and haunting calls. But behind that fierce look, there's a story of dedicated fatherhood. The male great horned owl starts his fatherhood journey by establishing his territory, which he fiercely defends from rivals. Once he secures a good nesting site, often an abandoned hawk or squirrel nest, he begins attracting a mate. His deep, resonant hoots echo through the forest, calling out to potential partners. After a successful courtship, the female lays her eggs, usually 2 or 3, and this is where the male great horned owl's true dedication shines. While the female keeps the eggs warm, the male takes on the responsibility of providing for his growing family. He becomes a relentless hunter, searching the night for prey like rodents, rabbits, snakes, and even other birds. His powerful talons and sharp beak make him a formidable predator, capable of taking down prey larger than himself. He brings the food to the nest, where the female tears it into bite-sized pieces for the hatchlings. As the owlets grow, so does their appetite, and the male owl must work tirelessly to keep up with their demands. Even after the owlets have fledged, the male continues to provide for them, teaching them how to hunt and protecting them from danger. The great horned owl, a testament to the power of paternal instinct, shows us that even in the darkest of nights, the light of fatherly love shines through. Chapter 12. Namaqua sandgrouse, water bearers of the desert. So our last stop is the scorching sands of the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. Here we meet a bird dad who goes above and beyond. The Namaqua sandgrouse. These birds, with their speckled feathers and plump bodies, might look out of place in such a harsh environment, but they've got an amazing trick up their sleeve to not just survive, but thrive. The Kalahari Desert is a place of extremes, with temperatures soaring during the day and dropping at night, and water is super scarce. In this tough landscape, the Namaqua sandgrouse shows us what real dad dedication looks like. Like many desert birds, Namaqua sandgrouse nest on the ground, making shallow scrapes in the sand for their eggs. Both parents take turns incubating the eggs, protecting them from the blazing sun and sneaky predators. But it's after the chicks hatch that the male Namaqua sandgrouse really shows his super dad skills. The chicks need a constant supply of water to survive, but finding water in the desert is no easy feat. This is where the male sandgrouse's special adaptation comes in. His belly feathers are designed to soak up and hold water, acting like a natural sponge. Every morning, the male sandgrouse flies to the nearest waterhole, which can be miles away from the nest. He wades into the water, soaking his belly feathers, and lets them absorb as much water as they can. With his precious cargo, he flies back to the nest, where his thirsty chicks are waiting for him. The chicks gather around, eagerly drinking the water droplets from his feathers. This incredible act of dad dedication ensures his chicks survive in one of the toughest places on Earth. The Namaqua sandgrouse shows us the power of adaptation and a father's unwavering love, reminding us that even in the face of adversity, life finds a way and love conquers all. So as we wrap up our journey around the world, we can't help but feel amazed by the awesome dads in the animal kingdom. From the freezing plains of Antarctica to the scorching deserts of Africa, these dads go all out to make sure their kids are safe and sound. They really shake up what we think about gender roles, showing us that being a dad isn't just about biology, but about dedication, sacrifice, and endless love. They remind us that parenting is a team effort, and that the bond between a dad and his kids is one of the strongest forces in nature. So, next time you see a bird taking care of its nest, a primate having fun with its little ones, or a predator teaching its cubs how to hunt, take a moment to appreciate these unsung heroes of the animal world, the dads who day in and day out show us what paternal love really means.